everyone, and welcome back to part 3 of the Supra sesh. Today, we're doing the other side. That's right, everyone. Today, we're starting on the other side. Now then, why are we starting on the other side? We only just got the sill off the other side, blah, blah, blah. Why aren't we carrying on with the engine? You did quite well taking the exhaust manifold off and everything last time, but the fact of the matter is, I don't have any money, which means that I can't, even if I take the head bolts out and take the head off, I can't take it over to the head shop anyway. So, that's kind of pointless. The other thing is, there's a little printer salesman here who seems to have left his, insignia there for 2 days in a row now. Not that that's a problem, it is a car park and that is a business space. We just usually take advantage of that, but we don't have that luxury. So this morning, bright and breezy, I reserved this space by parking my Scimitar in it, moved it out just now so that we can actually at least do some work on this side. Isn't that lovely?
This side seems to be a lot better.
Okay.
So obviously the little areas aren't so bad. The sill doesn't need to come off on this one because everything's nice and clean under there. So it's more up along here. This, for some bizarre reason, the arch is worse, but the inside is better, I think. The other thing is we've got the fuel filler goes through here, so what differences there are there I don't know yet until we take that off. And again, we've got to cut a bit down here, but again, it's less than the other side.
Yeah.
So hopefully it shouldn't be so much work on this side.
Indeedy. And obviously, as always, Tim's starting off by marking his area out, his territory, and then we'll get some blades out and start spinning. We haven't actually, I don't remember when we first went over, but the actual strut sort of tower, I don't know the quality of that, like as in the actual housing, if you like, surrounding him in the arch there. I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
Cool. And it's time to say goodbye to the Supra logo. Oh, not on me. It was more difficult than we thought. Da, 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 da.
Yeah, there's a bolt there.
There's not a bolt there.
There it is.
Oh.
It's behind this thing.
Oh. Oh, those on me. We got there in the end.
Yeah, pulled them out.
Pulled them out. So now I've been getting asked enough questions on, oh, what car is that? Oh, is that your car as well? What is it? Because everyone always thinks of the Mark IV Supra when they think of a Supra, but now it doesn't actually say Supra on the back. I can't imagine what people probably think this is. I should imagine some sort of Nissan.
Yeah, looks like 200SX.
200SX, yeah, that's sort of the more sort of famous 80s, 90s pop-ups scenario, isn't it? Cut to me having actually done some work. Oh, yes. So I wire brushed the living hell out of this. That came off. There was another bit on the back that came off as well, but it went flying. So, yeah, there's the jacking point at the back there. We think a dodgy MOTist had a field day with that one. Then coming up here, I got a bit sort of carried away because this is going to get cut off anyway. But it's looking actually better. I even fully refurbed the top arms, the calipers, and as you can see, I fully machined those discs flat, so that's great news. That's all ready to go. But I'm going to pass over to Tim now on this side because he has pointed out that in here we have a couple of holes. I know, in my car? Incredible. But I am going to grind those out from the inside whilst Tim carries on the outside doing other fluff. Wow. Okay guys, sorry I can't record this. It's too... what's it? There we go. Look at my hole. Notice down the bottom left where I went way too far. No problem though. That hole is still usable. And I technically got rid of all the rust on that panel. Just got a hole in it, but the rust is gone technically. Another strut bites the dust. Oh yeah, that's out now as well, giving Tim full access to the inside. Just when things were going well, Tim decides to poke at the sealer underneath here, which we already know is the secret holder of terrible news. Yeah, there's more rust behind that. I just said, actually, what we should do, if we had the budget, was just take absolutely everything off this car and then acid dip it, because then that would be much easier and we'd be much more certain where all the rust is. Because technically, I would argue that if we were to have done everything else apart from that bit of rust that Tim just discovered, then the MOTist wouldn't have discovered that. It's covered, he would have had no reason to go there. Things like this, you know, but we're going to do this relatively properly because I do not want this car returning to the earth after the amount of money that I will be spending on it, and hopefully the amount of years that I will be driving it for. Yeah, it's actually not too bad, is it? But
nah, little plate's fine.
yeah, but it's definitely worth finding because that's the sort of thing that will grow and take the car down. We interrupt the Let's Find Rust on Mike's Supra programme to bring you this. This is Trim Restorer, supposedly. It restores trim. I've got it because it was called Poor Boy's World. I don't know what that means, but it's proudly made in the United States of America. It says that all you need to do is squirt it on or put some on the panel that you want to work on. So there we go. And then buff it out. I have this, which is sort of going to help this situation. And all this is obviously probably from the rear of the boot, I guess. But all the trim is dull, scratched and all that sort of stuff. So I wanted to see how it'd go. Yeah, I mean, that's got it wet, hasn't it? I feel like it smells nice, but I feel like this is going to be quite similar just to using like any sort of, even like sunflower oil or something. Also, this fucking eBay pad thing is instantly shedding all over it, so that's good. Probably gonna stop doing that. Cheers. Right then, back to the show. I have been, well, I say have been, quickly put a wire wheel through that, just on the left there, just to get it through. I also saw that was a bit there. Just realised I missed that bit there. There's that bit there, and there's that bit there. Now then, you remember when we last saw Tim, he had found that bit inside behind the sort of wheel well sealanty stuff. Well, turns out that once he cut that out, there was actually a bit of rust behind that rust.
Yeah, under there.
Yeah, so
which is boxed into.
Yeah,
that.
It is boxed in. It's pretty tricky. It's sort of behind the support for the strut tower. So it's sort of behind that there. You can see that there is an access hole at the top, but it's like tiny. I assume that was just for spot welding out the factory or whatever, but yeah, there you go. So more's there. And you were doing something down on the right then?
Doing this bit.
Oh yes, lovely.
So it's nearly off.
Go on, give it a wang.
There you go.
There it is, perfect. Woo!
What we got to do is, as Mike said, someone's jacked up on there, on the jacking point, and bent it up. So I'm hoping I can get access here now, straighten it back down.
Hopefully. We shall see. Whilst we're in the spirit of reviewing things, I am taking out this exhaust hanger that goes at the back here. It's completely rusted, and as you can see, that bolt in there is still in there, even though the nut is come off the end. So, sorry, the bolt is snapped off and it blah, blah, blah. Anyway, it looks like this now. Yeah, not the best. So, I was just about to do the other side, which is there. And sort of underneath it's supposed to be a 12. The other one, this one here that snapped off, was a 12, but the 12 doesn't fit and the 11's too small. So before I start trying to hammer on an 11mm socket, Tim suggested we try out his lovely set of magical things, including this 12mm socket here. And basically these have a sort of staggered tooth design inside. Not sure if that's picking up or not. And the idea is that, what did you say, Tim? 85%?
Supposed to 85% rounded off, but I don't
80
know about 85% rusted off.
Yeah, so we've got, obviously this has become smaller. Good news is the socket fits on and grips, which is sort of similar to the other one. But I'm going to see if this socket, which is, what, is there a brand name or, oh, but yes, the lock tip. Lovely. No.
Did it not?
No. As you said, I mean, it's corroded straight away. So I wonder if that's taken enough meat off for me to be able to turn the microphone the right way. So the 12 lock tip did not work. What about the 11 lock tip? Probably not as well, I should imagine. Well, I mean, I'm at the stage now where I either try and hammer one of them on, and I don't necessarily want to damage Tim's lock tip set, so I will try hammering on my own socket. Good fighter. Have you got a hammer you can chop me? Oh, look at this. That did nothing. Maybe we do need to,
Yeah, I'll have a go.
use a lock tip one. I mean, I'm assuming there's not enough, nowhere near enough meat on that. I reckon vice grips. I've got an idea, Tim.
Yeah.
We drill this fucker out, get rid of this bracket, and then just weld something in place to sort of hold an exhaust.
Probably.
Because, I mean, there's... we can't... I didn't even try moving it.
It's broken off.
Yeah, it's just like, look.
Yeah.
That's not...
Well, keep the remains, because at least it gives us an idea of what it's supposed to be like.
Oh, mate, I don't think it's worth it. We're going to put the exhaust here. We're going to have it aligned up.
I'm going to make something up.
And then we can just put a flat bar across and hammer and drill it as we need.
Yeah.
Now that I have successfully rounded this 14mm bolt off, let's try the lock tips and see if they will indeed do what they say. Oh, certainly gripped. Oh, it actually fucking did it.
Deal.
Not a waste of money then, Tim.
Good.
However, it's locked its tip on there. Oh, that was a lovely big bit. Yeah, it looks much better. That's on. That's good to go now. Tim is just mocking up panels there, and he has successfully cut away some bits on the inside there. You can sort of see. Also, behind that panel there, you can see is actually clean metal now, so that's great news. And whilst Tim has been cracking on with that, I've been taking brackets off. So there's one of the fuel tank straps that you saw with the the removal sockets over there, but also the fuel tank straps. Oh yeah, the exhaust mount that we got off as well. Well, I mean, it sort of, you know, fell off, but that's not the point. The other thing is worth mentioning is I used an impact on these. Great idea, until the nut doesn't want to move and then it twists the whole bracket, so that's great. But really, in the grand scheme of things, pop it in a vise and that'll be fine. And we'll probably actually with those, as Tim said, you can see he desperately tries to use a viewfinder there. You can see that sort of flap. Well, I've managed to loosen up. It sort of flops around now quite nicely, so that's good, and that means that we can just like sort of weld something to the end, or you know, drill a hole and then use just any strap really to hold the tank in underneath. Speaking of, it's quite good actually. You can see underneath here, I mean, you guys have all seen it before, but underneath there, there's surface rust, and you can see the top arms there that I used the wire brush on earlier. They really stand out, and everything under here is actually, even though it looks crusty as hell, a wire brush is just going to bring it right out. Obviously, powder coating, this is what you should do if you have enough money. I don't, so I'll probably just fog it with some good paint and maybe some underseal stuff or something or other, which will keep it going Well, indefinitely probably, but we'll see. We finally found out why the car was so rusty. They spelt Supra wrong on the bloody coilovers, look. What's funny is that these are actually aftermarket KYB shock absorbers, and they are actually, I don't know if you can read that, made in Japan. I know, fabulous. Also, it's got SPAC springs on it. Cameraman of the Year award goes to me.
Yes.
Yeah, where is it? I can see it with my eyes, but I cannot see it on the screen. Anyway, yeah, SPAC springs, lovely. Good. Tim, you can cut now.
I can cut.
As you can see, Tim has been doing some drawing on the car, and he's going to cut up the other panel. There's what's left of the other one that we got for the other side, but as mentioned, can't work on that today, so never mind. Go on, Tim, get her done. Boom, panel completed. Tim's levelled up his cutting equipment. You just can't quite get the grinder in that sort of gap there. But luckily he's found a tool that will.
Bent blade.
Yeah, it's very bent. The blade's bent too. And there we have it, everyone. An end to part 3 of the Supra sesh. Nothing done at the front end today, as mentioned. And as you can see, lots of cutting out done on the rear. And down there as well at the end there. Doesn't seem like much, but you know, these things, you really have to just start taking them apart before you have to start putting things back on again. And unfortunately, that's where we are. Just to clarify, as mentioned at the beginning of the video, because of this car we weren't able, or didn't want to touch anything on this side, obviously throwing sparks. Don't think they would like that. But now, both sides are actually looking rather similar. And we are getting dangerously close to fabricating little bits to go back in there, and then Tim can get welding.
Indeed.
Yes. As always, thank you for watching. Thank you, Tim, for helping. I'll catch you next time. Bye.